Okay, so I'm throwing up a video card right now, and you can see a photo shoot that I did where I thought um, maybe the MC105 just wasn't communicating well with the Z8, and so I just wanted to do a follow up video with some extra shots to see if it's the lens or just see if it's how the Nikkor Z MC105 f2.8 VRS, that's the macro lens, to see if it just doesn't communicate in eye tracking or maybe the lens is just busted. So let's get into this one. These are all in single point autofocus and it's sharp. Sharp. We front focused a little bit, but it's really sharp. Again, that's a little bit of a front focus. Front focus. Front focus. Front focus. Incredibly sharp. I mean, outrageously sharp. Nothing really wrong with the lens. This is all in continuous AF as well. Okay, so now we've got a little bit of the eye in there. This one's a little underexposed here. That's right on the pupil. That's right. Actually, the lens hood actually created a new pupil. That's funny. Totally accident. That's on it. And that one just kind of missed entirely. And I deleted a bunch of these before I started. There's about 3 that did this out of 50 shots or so. So that's actually what I would consider kind of normal performance. So I'm not worried about this one. That's on the pupil. 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 And that's on the pupil. Okay, so in single point continuous autofocus, there's no problem with the lens. Let's look at some others now. Okay, so in these, I was doing single point autofocus, AFS, and then I was switching to human eye tracking. So let's get in here. Single point. Looks good. It's right on this eye. It's not perfect focus, but it's on there. Let's take a look at this one. Single point on this eye. Looks good. And we start getting into some human eye tracking. And it's just not that particularly on. It's not front focus. It's not back focus. It's just kind of not anywhere. And this one from a distance, it looks okay. But if we actually get in there, it's really not that on. More continuous AF with human eye tracking. It's just not, it's not that on. It's not, it looks okay from a distance. It's not something that I would throw away, but it's just not particularly great. And again, from a distance at 100%, can't really tell. Definitely from back here, you can't tell. Looks pretty good, but it's just not particularly that on. And now we're back to single point autofocus. It's on. And back to human eye tracking. It's just not, it's just not really there. And then if we go back to single point autofocus, it's right on. This is the most blatant example. This is almost the exact same framing, exact same spot. This one here is with human eye tracking. It's not something that you have to throw away, but you just know it's not really there. And if you go right to this one, in single point autofocus, it's just on. So my theory is this lens just, it doesn't keep up with human eye tracking, which that's okay. I guess it's a macro lens. It's not specifically for that. This is an earlier Z lens, but you know, this lens, I just don't think it keeps up. I think that's what it is. So the best way to use this lens for portraits, I think, based on just these few test shots, is probably in pinpoint autofocus and then just AFS. I wouldn't mess with continuous because this lens is pretty slow focusing. That's a known thing about it. Macro lenses don't need to be that fast, and this one definitely is not. The image quality is outstanding with this lens. And so I'm glad the lens isn't broken, and I'm glad I'm not going crazy. There's plenty of people in the comments that were kind of saying the same thing, that they didn't really like this lens in continuous focus or in eye tracking. And I don't think there's anything wrong with the lens besides the fact that it's just not doing that well. Maybe it's not fast enough to keep up with, eye tracking. And so this lens does tend to hunt a little bit too, which is why it's important to make use of the limiter switch, which is another theory I was testing. I was thinking maybe, just maybe, I goofed up and kept the limiter switch on, but that's not the case. I made absolutely sure that wasn't there. This lens just struggles a little bit in continuous autofocus. So single point autofocus, AFS, like lock that focus if you can, if you're steady enough. And ideally, I think pinpoint autofocus if your camera supports it. Anyway, I'm glad it's not broken. I'm Z Wade, the Z Wade, in Z Wade Photo. Stay sharp, YouTube.